Howdy, Coach Fisher.
Howdy.
You want to get us started us off with a statement?
Yes. Just go ahead and get this out there. We have paused our practice activities for the day where we will not practice. We will meet on Zoom with our players to watch the film and do the things we have to do. We had a couple positive cases of COVID after we got back and retesting, and we suspended things for the protocols of safety protocols to make sure we do our quarantine tracing and all the things that go back, and we're retesting the whole team again today. And of course, stay in the protocols that go all during the week. So we're in those processes now. So we don't, if there is more there is a spread. We're trying to prevent that and do everything from a safety issue with our players and our staff to keep them as safe as possible. So we'll do everything by Zoom today, and then we'll make accordances based off the test results we get back and the things that are going on in the quarantine tracing, in which we're presently still pursuing and finalizing. So from that, going to the game, I'm very proud of our team to go on the road at South Carolina. It's always been a very tough place to play, very hard place to play, and still was. It was a very physical game. Thought defensively we were outstanding in the game, played really well up front against the run. And they had a good back and good line that could run the football. Our defensive front seven and even our safeties, everybody did a great job. Got them in third and longs, got off the field, third down, a bunch of 3 and outs, got the ball back for us offensively. Did a great job. Got 2 big turnovers in that game too, which were huge. Offensively, very balanced. I love the ability we did run the football, ability to throw the football, convert on third downs at a very high efficiency rate. Got in the red zone, we're able to score touchdowns, score on third downs in the red zone, which is very huge. Big plays by our skill guys in those regards in our line. Thought we good balance with Isaiah, throwing the football with Kellen. Getting the chain in there, get him banging around. Tight ends did a good job. Receivers did a good job. Caught balls, big third downs, everything there. Kicking game was very sound. Punted the ball twice, had good in the average. They never got a return. Kickoffs were good. He actually mishit a couple. One that squibbed that we had to return, and we did a great job of returning that one. Got on that one. One he hit right at the goal line, which is rare, and we covered that one very well also. So did a good job there. Punt return, did a nice job. Missed a PAT, which was very uncharacteristic, but Seth had a great night otherwise. And they're just continuing to get better. We're continuing to get better as a football team, and all 3 phases need to play together and keep developing in that regard. So get ready to go play at Tennessee this week. Questions?
All right. First question is from Owen Buchanan from TexAgs.com.
Yeah, Jimbo, wasn't planning to ask this, but at this time, are you still confident that y'all play this week?
Well, yes. I mean, right now, everything's full go. We'll meet and plan on things. We'll see how the quarantine tracing and all the other tests that come back are. I mean, you always plan for that, and then if you make adjustments as you go. Okay.
Moving on. Jimbo, when you look at all the things that you guys are doing with the pass protection and the third down success and all the things that are going on, is there anything about this team that you even take a step back and are at all surprised, or did you see all this coming?
Well, no, I mean, I felt we have very good players and we're all on the same page. We're communicating very well. You have experience there. The guys are taking pride in their work and they're grinding things out and learning to prepare. And, you're playing well. They're doing well. And they're very confident in what we're doing. And, I mean, to say you're surprised, no. But are you always happy and elated when you do that? Yes, because, you're always fighting for those things to happen. So very proud of our guys in the way they're not just playing, but they're preparing to play by watching the film and then taking it to the practice field and then taking it from the practice field to the game field.
And one last thing you mentioned, I think last week you brought up the rat poison thing. So how?
No, I said poison. You said rat poison.
Okay, the other coach said rat poison. But anyway, do you have any concern at all about, because your guys, about whether or not they're going to start thinking this is too easy and taking it?
No, I don't. I mean, you're always concerned of that. That's human nature. Whether you were saying it or not, or they were reading it on social media, which I know is out there. That's human nature to be doing well and say, man, I can just relax for a second and take a break. And that's how it sets in. I mean, you always are aware of that and you're always fighting that as a coach, no matter what. If you guys are praising us or not praising or whatever it is, that's just human nature. So those things that we constantly try to talk about and address with our team, very much so. So you're always worried about that, but hopefully the maturity of this team will not allow that to happen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Gabe Bach from TexAgs.com.
Yeah, Jimbo. So as it pertains to the news here, what's it look like from this point? When do you feel like you'll have a better idea whether you'll be able to play in the game?
Well, as days go on, the testing comes back and the quarantine protocols come back. We're playing today. We're meeting and doing everything as if we would be here. We're just doing it on Zoom, which is one of the great things we've learned. so we can do in the film video. I won't have the practice today, but it's going to be a lighter practice today because we got back from such a late road trip, not getting back till 3 a.m. So I always have a good Monday practice, but we cut back a little bit because of recovery right there. So we won't have that, but we'll have the mental prepper and the film parts of that. And then we'll just wait till the protocols go through, and we'll make them and work with the SEC office to make choices as we go forward.
I want to ask you too about guys that stepped up. Carper had the pick when Damani out, and then Tyree Johnson's been so good you didn't have Clemens in there. Layden Robinson came in for Hawker. What Achane was able to do for Spiller. How pleased are you with some of those guys and we talk about depth, but it's specifically those 2 or 3, 4 names.
Extremely, because they're critical places that, they're in critical positions that impact the game and everywhere you go. And those young guys being developed, the older guys stepping up, it's huge to have that. And that's what you got to have, because attrition is going to happen in this year playing an SEC scale. The physicality, the bumps, the bruises, things are going. I mean, even COVID, the situations there from Damani. I mean, so all those situations are huge, and I'm very proud of our guys. And I think our guys are handling that situation very well, and they're developing very well. Or it's good. It's a tribute to our coaches too.
Next question is from Brent Zorderman from the Houston Chronicle.
Coach, wanted to ask you, since you didn't recruit Kellen to Texas A&M, what does it say about his character and resolve for him to kind of buy in and to have the success that he has had under you in terms of what
he's always had great character, and he's very competitive. He's very driven. He's very focused, and I think it's maturity of him. I think it's a reflection of his upbringing. And I always said he's got a great home life, got a great mom and dad, and they do a great job with him. And he's a great young man, and he has a burning desire to be really good. And he's putting the time, the work, in all aspects, not only physical, mental, film room, all the things he's got to do. And it's a great sign of who he is as a person.
For years, I've heard the question around here: does this program look like an SEC team? So I'm going to ask you now. Does your program look like an SEC team?
Yes, it does. We're getting the size, speed, athleticism, girth that you got to have in key positions. We're learning to be athletic in those skill guys, and we're continuing to get better and better at each one of those things. And yes, that's what we're turning into. And as I say, turning into, I think we have that. They've been that way. It's been a great program, but you do have to have a certain size, length, and speed ability in this league to be able to perform consistently day in, day out, because the size matters. The pounding on your bodies and how physical this league is a very tough, demanding league.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Tyler Shaw from KBTX.
Coach, I was just curious what your initial kind of scouting report is on Tennessee, and what challenges do you anticipate that they present?
Well, I say defensively, big, strong front guys, got edge guys that can rush. 95 and 13, and backers 11's a really good player inside. 27 is very physical, hits you. Those guys are very natural. Secondary covers can corner. I mean, 0 and 5 and 1, 2. I mean, they all can play. Cover 22, they all cover well. Multiple coverages in the defense. Exotic blitz looks on third down, bring it from different places, bluff you, sight you up. I mean, they do a really good job of mixing coverages and looks on secondary. Offensive line, physical, run the football. Tight ends like Chaney does a great job. RPO you. Quarterback can run. Backs are heavy. Do that. Punting game, I think they've punted 8 times and had 8 yards in return. So they're giving up 1 yard of return. So their punt team has done a great job. Their kickoff guys, kickoff return guys, they got good skill guys returning. It's a very sound, good football team. It's very physical.
All right, let's go to Brian Peroni from Gig'em 247.
Sorry about that. Hey, Coach, I just wanted to check on the injury status, as seems to be my role. Isaiah Spiller, I know you said he could have returned, but just making sure.
Isaiah's good.
All right, Isaiah Spiller. Damani Richardson, I know he was out with COVID. Is he possibly cleared, or is he waiting?
No, you have to go through the protocols and the time frames in which you'll
Is there a way? I should look up the SEC protocols, but is there a way he could be back to play this weekend if he?
He has to be a 10-day protocol, and I don't believe he meets within that 10-day protocol from what I understand from when his test was.
Okay,
I believe 10 days is exact. Our medical staff does. I believe 10 days on a positive test. You have to test so many times out, at the end.
Okay, perfect. And then Jared Hawker, I know you said he was going to have an X-ray.
Yeah, I mean, he was fine. It should be anything. It was just a bang or a bruise. He thought he could have came back in the game at that time when he wanted to come back in. We didn't let him. But no, there was nothing from the MRI that jumped out.
Oh, and then Michael Clemens is he okay? I know his ankle.
Well, Michael's banged up, had an ankle, and actually had to have surgery on an ankle today. So when he gets back, we'll know.
Okay, so he's, at least out for a
He's
little
out.
while.
I don't know. I don't till whenever he can recover, and it could be they've said from 3 to 5, 3 to 4. I mean, you put a timetable on it. So when he gets better, we'll put him back in there.
And I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next up is Mark Passwaters from Rivals.com.
Well, it looks like my questions got good timing after Brian's. I was going to ask you about the play of the defensive line, Coach. They held a pretty good running back to next to nothing Saturday. So
a really good running back in the line, and a team that likes to run the ball. Our guys did a great job disruption up top. Our backers fit well. Our safeties come down and spilled on the edges and inside when they had to. But the disruption from the down guys was huge in the game, and our defensive line, I thought, played an outstanding game.
are you surprised at the level of success that they have had, especially the last several weeks, and basically just shutting the running game down?
No. I mean, that physically, they have that ability. They have the size, speed, athleticism, and to do the things they want to do. And that's the key we've been trying to emphasize. That's for sure.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Next question is from Robert Sessa at the Bryan College Station Eagle.
Yeah, Coach, if I could, Jimbo, forget clarification. Did you say 2 tests positive when you came back? Is that in addition to Richardson? So are we talking
yes.
3?
Yes, that was it.
Okay.
We had 2 more when we came back. And then we're going through the contract tracing to shut things down today to make sure we can get things under, see where things are at under control.
Okay, and if I got to follow up, I wanted to ask a question about the poison, I guess. You talk about controlling things. The fact, is it a little bit easier during COVID since you guys are a little bit more closer in contact and maybe don't get out too much to read us, good or bad?
You got that phone, don't you? You still get social media, so you can still read you and every comment and everything else. And hey, you could be at the top of a mountain and you're not isolated nowadays. I mean, just so you're getting cell service or you're getting reception, that it still comes in.
And one last thing, since this is the first time to Tennessee for the program, I know you've been there, and I know it won't be the same atmosphere, but anything different about going to Tennessee in your time?
Yeah, they've always had good teams, good players, and loud people and loud fans. And when you get out there, you hear Rocky Top for 2 weeks afterwards. It echoes in your head.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Travis Brown from the Eagle.
Hey, Coach. I know we asked a little bit about this last week, but now that you have 2 games of field, what kind of comfort or added ease has the return of Hezekiah Jones added to those wide receiver and core? Because it seems like they've really solidified over the last 2 weeks.
Well, they've done a great job, and I thought our other guys were doing a good job. Head just brings a lot of experience to the table. I thought the other guys, Cam and those guys, were all doing a very good job too. But he does bring experience. He's a very fast guy. He can be multi-positional, inside or outside, and so it brings a lot of comfort there. And he's a very good leader. Even when he was out, he was doing a great job of leading. And
did you know? I know last week he talked to us about his fashion hobbies and making pants and so on. Did you know about that at all? Or
I know, but I haven't seen much of it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Thank you. That's a neat.
Next up is Mike Lucas from KAGS.
Hey, Coach, how you doing today?
How are you?
Good. I wanted to ask about your guys' red zone offense. 23 of 26 this year on scoring. Last 4 games, 16 touchdowns on 19 attempts. The only 3 non-scores were on a couple kneel downs and a field goal. Why has this offense been so deadly in the red zone this year? What's kind of changed from last year?
I think 2 things. I think when you get in the red zone, things happen faster, tighter, and quicker. You're in a limited amount of space. So the physicality of your unit is very critical, and you have to be physical up front running the football with your tight ends, but your backs taking 1-yard runs and making them 3-yard runs. And always, listen, when you get to that, and you get to the tight zone from the 12, 15 in, a lot of times the 10, there's always one guy that's unblocked, the back's got to handle. So the physicality of runners, ability to make you miss or do that. I think the ability that we can run the quarterback, our passing game, the balance of being able to play action or create one-on-ones, and our guys are running good routes, and we work on it. And, I think they believe on it, and they understand the physicality it takes, the quickness it takes, and how you got to play in a limited space. But I think the balance and physicality have a lot to do with it. And then, again, eliminating negative plays. Even if it's a 3-yard gain, okay, and the next one's a 5, in your 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, or, if you get a 4, I think staying in those positive situations really helps too.
And if I could follow up on that real quick, Coach, is the improvement in that area in particular a sign of serious growth within this program?
Yes. I mean, a lot of times when you have negative plays, all right, sometimes you get beat physically. Sometimes a guy beats you on the block and, hey, that guy's on scholarship. But if you'll go back, it's either your alignment, assignment, or technique. It's usually mental things. where you lose focus and you allow a mistake to happen. And we're doing a better job of eliminating those and cutting those down. And that comes with maturity. It comes with mental toughness of, hey, my leg's sore, my arm's sore. Instead of thinking about it, you're thinking about, all right, I block it out. I compartmentalize. I know my shoulder's sore, my arm's sore, my legs. You know what? I got a job to do. And that comes with maturity. And you think about it, a lot of your mistakes and negative plays aren't just physical. They become from a lack of focus or concentration because something's happened in the game, or you just take a break, or something else is hurting, or whatever it is. And I think our guys are learning to be more mature that way, and that way playing a lot more consistent.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Next up is Christy from the Associated Press, and then Justin.
Coach, I just wanted to clarify to make sure your 2 positive tests, were they both players?
No, one was a player, one was an off-field person.
Okay.
Staff
And
member.
okay. And also on another subject, this season, obviously Alabama is still in first place in the SEC, but there's like a kind of a different look to the league, with Arkansas winning some games and LSU struggling, and you guys, at the top of the standings.
I hope it stays strange then. I hope it stays strange.
Well, I guess I'm kind of rambling, but I guess my point was, what do you think about the new look, kind of the new look to the league this year, and how the SEC is looking?
Well, here's the thing. If you study this league over time, there's certain teams that stay up, but there's always a rotate. There's too many good players in too many positions, and every program has its time to push and stay ahead. It's always going to be. There's too many good coaches, too much money invested. It's too important to other programs. There's too many players across this country come play in this league. And if you look at it over time, that thing has always rotated back and forth. And there's been times for everybody to have their moment. And hopefully we're learning to push forward, and hopefully we can continue to do that.
And one last thing, the college football playoff rankings are going to come out for the first time next week. Do you think at all about that?
No. And I say that, people, oh, you got to. No, I really don't, because it's clutter to me too. All I want to do is go prepare well to play well at Tennessee, then do it at Ole Miss. And then, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where you're at right now. If you're running a 100-meter dash and it's 60 meters, which we're 6 games in, we're 60% done. Where you stand tells you, all right, you may know what to do, but it's not permanent. So you can increase or decrease based off your disposition, psychological disposition, your ability to compete, your ability to prepare, all those things. And you got to learn to not worry about those things. And it's like we tell our players, if you want the scoreboard to say what it does, ignore it during the game and win your space each and every play and play your tail off. If you want the season and your record to be where you're relevant, ignore the record at the end and worry about the next game and the next practice and the next play, and do those things as a coach, whether you're preparing and do that. And I truly believe that. That's not cliche. I truly believe that's how you get to where you're going.
Next up is Justin Woodard from KAGS.
It just may seem like a simple question, but just between Spiller and the offensive line, for him to be leading the SEC right now in yards per carry, obviously you're imposing your will on defenses. Is that something that you can see during a game, like, oh man, okay, they can't stop us right now?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you feel comfort getting plays, when you're calling plays as a play caller, knowing you can go to certain things and get yards, whether it's a pass, a run, a player, whatever it may be, is a big asset when you're calling a game. And how aggressive you can be, how you can do it, knowing if, as I call them, all right, if we're going to be aggressive here, and if that doesn't do, I can get parts of this back right here and then get to a third down, like we're talking about making those third downs. When you have things to go to like that, it makes as a play caller, it lets your game fall in place.
And then one quick follow-up. How are you getting the most out of your passing game, Coach? When we see on the outside, you don't have that one go-to receiver, so to speak, but you're spreading it out and you're still moving the ball.
We do. I think they're all go-to guys. We're going to them in the right coverages and the right matchups. Whether it's the backs, the tight ends, the receivers, we're going to them with the matchups in which we want, in which we think we can win at. And I think, everybody says you got to throw it to one guy. Well, that's not always true. You mix and match guys. And I think the versatility of our guys, the intelligence of our guys to move around, and that we do have all 5 guys. A lot of guys throw it to all the receivers because maybe they don't have tight ends and backs that can catch it, or they don't have slot. And that's just the facts of life. And we'll get to our guys. We know who the big play guys are, but at the same time, we love the distribution of the ball because it makes you hard to defend. And it even helps your running game because they got to defend them all. Then you can still run the football also.
All right, let's go to Shihan Jiraraja from Dave Campbell's Texas Football. And then Chuck.
Hey, Coach, when you look at how you guys played last week, especially in a road performance, how much do you think your team has grown, especially since those first 2 games?
Well, I think they've grown a lot. I think we're developing identities of who they are, and we're getting guys in position. We played so many young guys. I mean, we had some opt-outs and people who moved on, And so getting those guys comfortable playing and understanding how to play on the road, not only at home, but on the road, and as their confidence has grown, as success they've had. So I think we've grown a lot in that aspect.
Obviously, the road has been a place where it's been a little inconsistent. I mean, how nice was it for you to kind of see a real total team performance on the road at South
It's huge.
Carolina?
And like I say, that's always where you see it the most. And being able to go on the road and sign, it's a very good sign of where you're going as an organization.
All right, next up is Chuck Carlton from the Dallas Morning News, and then we'll go to Joe Gleason.
Jimbo, you look at Isaiah and he's a powerful guy, but is there more than that when it comes to his yards after contact? He seems to have that special knack for being able to shed that first guy.
I think his ability to see and get his body in position and get it in a power position, not always be in the middle of somebody, be on the edge of somebody. The people aren't hitting him square, and that's a knack to him, feeling guys, getting the edge, and the naturalness of his running ability and ability to change direction. He's also, he's excellent when he sticks that foot in the ground. He can accelerate.
And just want to ask you a little bit about the news of the day from the standpoint of you guys have done a really good job of managing the COVID situation, but you're not a physician. None of your assistants are physicians. How difficult is it, I guess, in terms of just dealing with that kind of situation that's been unknown territory?
Well, it's extremely difficult. And not only for that, for your staff and for myself. I'm very aware of the things I got to do, and you got to do it constantly. And listen, it can happen to you with this without you even knowing. That's the thing about this thing. I mean, it's not, you can be safe as you can be, and our protocols and things are going on, I think are excellent, but it can just happen. And that's the unfortunate thing about it.
Let's go to Joe Gleason from KTRK, and then we'll go to Sam Khan.
Coach, can you just talk a little bit about Devon A-Chain coming in and contributing and being a big part of the offense?
Oh, can we? I'm sorry. What did he say? Can you talk? Yeah. Hey, it's huge. Listen, Devon's been. I've felt very good about him for a long time. We've had to wait for the right times to get him in. He learns. Tell you the thing about him. Very quiet young man. Learns extremely well. Very hardworking. Very conscientious. Very talented. I mean, he can catch it. He can run. The thing you don't realize, he is strong. Not only everybody talks about his speed and his athleticism, that guy's a strong body guy that is a natural runner with the football, and bringing him in to give another guy you feel comfortable in the game. And I'm going to tell you what else I've been happy with. You watch him pass block. He knows it. He's getting on the right guys on the blitz, picking blitzes up. I mean, doing a heck of a job. So very proud of him in those regards, and he's becoming a complete back. And that's very hard to do as a freshman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Sam Khan from ESPN, and then we'll go to Jeff from the Bat.
Hey, Jimbo, it seems to me just from a statistical standpoint, you are a little bit more aggressive this year on fourth down, going for it a little bit more. What is behind that philosophy?
Well, I think we've become more consistent as an offense, throwing it, running it, getting in fourth down situations where you're at and who's touching the ball, and get more experience at quarterback, where you're trying to do. And the multitude of, like you say, you got 5 guys you feel comfortable with throwing the ball to, because sometimes on the fourth down, they force you to throw it to a guy. You say, man, if they got to throw it there, it's just not comfortable. I feel comfortable throwing it to all of our guys, no matter who it is, or running it. And our defense is playing better and better. Our special teams are doing a good job. So I'm just, in general with the team and how we're playing, I just feel more comfortable. And I think it's, again, they could go like that, or you could back off of them. But, right now, I think at those times we're very, very comfortable with doing it.
Historically, what's been your philosophy on that, on whether to be aggressive or not?
What kind of team you got? All my philosophies, they can change year to year based on the strength of your team. Is it a defensive team? Is it an offensive team? Is it a skilled team? Do you have to score? And the flow of the game. Each individual game has its own identity on fourth down. So, there's not been do the thing that gives you the best chance to win the game. That's always been my philosophy, if that makes any sense. And I know that sounds cliches, but that's the truth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Jennifer Streeter from the Bat, and then Zach Taylor.
Hey, Coach Fisher, how important to the success of the offense would you say the balance is between the running and the passing game?
I think it's huge. When people have to worry about 2 different things, and you've got 1 problem or 2 problems, you'd rather have 1 than you would 2, because you can shut 1 down, and being able to do it running and throw it from all personnel I think is huge too. So it's a huge part of what we do.
Next up is Zach Taylor, and then Travis Brown.
Yeah, Jimbo, not saying it's exactly the case here with you guys, but there have been some games that have been postponed because of COVID-19 throughout the year. I guess Florida, LSU comes to mind. Does it give you some peace of mind knowing that the SEC kind of made a contingency plan and adding a game, if need be, to the end of the season?
Oh, I definitely do. I mean, listen, our commissioner is doing a great job. Our league is doing a great job. And I say plan for the unexpected or the unknown is a hard thing to do. That's extremely hard. And it takes a lot. And I think the forethought they've had to do that and the ability to do that, and it's been done, I think is great. And, because you have to stay with the safety protocol, that's first and foremost over everything you do in the safety of the players, not only with COVID, but the guys playing the game, you're quarantining and your contract tracing. And I mean, all the things that go with that. And I think that's a very hard job for our commissioner to do. And then, if you have to cancel a game, it's because, you have issues that's not fair to the teams that are playing. You could spread disease, or the physical part of you don't have enough guys to compete at the highest level you want to do it. So I think it's very tough, but them having to done it already and what they have in place, I think is excellent.
And real quick, I feel like I ask you this every week because you have relationships with these coaches you go up against, but Jeremy Pruitt obviously served as your DC. So what's it going to be like seeing him across the field?
Yeah, and you hate that again. Actually, the first full-time job Jeremy ever had was with me at Florida State. And at the college level, I mean, as far as Division I, and did a great job for us there. And you hate doing it because, again, this business is hard enough. You know how you feel after a loss, and you hate for somebody or a win. You felt good, but when you're going against people, it's just hard to. You want to win, you got to win for yourself, but you hate if you're fortunate enough to be the winner, you hate for the other guy because he's your friend.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, the last question is from Travis Brown from the Bryan College Station Eagle.
Hey, Coach, just to clarify, so was the in-person activities postponed today just so that everyone could get retested and see where y'all are?
Yeah, to get retested, see where we are, and the quarantine trace to make sure we're not spreading it in any rate. Thought right now because we could get our meetings done on Zoom and all that, so we thought it'd be the safest protocol for our players.
Great, and I know that the SEC has protocols and plans in place, but is there an amount of practice time that y'all would miss that you would feel like the game shouldn't then be played?
Well, no. Yeah, I mean, we'll discuss that as we go. I don't know that. I think I'm more concerned about the players and where they're testing and whether each individual result comes back.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Good, guys. Thank y'all. Have a great day.